Okay, am I recording? I think I am. Okay, people, welcome. This is Professor TOVANCHE, and what I'm about to do, of course, is go just a little bit over the syllabus stuff. Now, I know you all can read. I do expect you to thoroughly look at everything, but I am going to do sort of a quick and dirty overview so everybody's on the same page. It also gives me the opportunity to kind of see things from, well, here we go, the student point of view. Make sure that everything is kind of up and running the way I think it should be. Now, by now, I hope you have looked at, my, yeah, if you wanted to, right? My profile's there. Um, just a couple of blurbs about me, who I am and what I teach and so forth. Of course, that's not all that crucial. There is a welcome message in here that I hope you read that has some information in it that's sort of a good little overview. Again, I think you probably read that by now. And of course, there's the course description and essential objectives. Now, from my understanding, this is something that is seen by the world, right? Whoever has internet connection, I suppose. And it, of course, shows a lot of the things that we're going to be doing in this class. Um, of course, what you should rely on is the stuff that's actually here and on the syllabus, as I'll go over it in a moment. If there are any discrepancies or any changes, then I will alert you to any changes. If there's a discrepancy, feel free to let me know. My default will be, well, at least my assumption, my presumption will be that you will look to Canvas, of course, to this area here, syllabus, to show you exactly what it is that my expectations are for the class. So I'm kind of just bouncing around here, as you can see. As I said, here's a course description. Now, this course is under construction, and I will continue to build stuff as the semester progresses. I'm new to Canvas. I had never used Canvas before. My college, Tarrant County College, where I teach full time, we are actually in the middle of transitioning to that. So you guys, of course, have this this whole thing, I hope, worked out for yourselves. I'm still kind of dealing with it, so hopefully all of this will make sense. Okay. All right, so the course is under construction. I will continue to build stuff into it. Like I said, I'd never used this before. Also, I'd never taught at CCV before, so all of this is very new. So the good thing, of course, is that you will have already some materials available to you. We'll get back to that in just a moment. So obviously you see here course resources, some assistance for you. This is here, Ask My Classmates. That's pretty much just what it is, what it sounds like, right? I don't grade this thing. If you click on it, you'll see there's just a little blurb there about how hopefully you'll use it to communicate with each other. Obviously, you might have better ways to do this, but if you ask questions here, the whole class can see it. Hopefully you will use that in case there's any question about your understanding of the material, question about your understanding of an assignment or instructions or so forth. It's usually a good idea to sort of bounce these things, the ideas or questions off of each other. Obviously, I am there to help you, though sometimes students feel more comfortable talking to each other. I'll leave that to you. Okay, moving on. So here we have Zoom, right? Zoom with Professor TOVANCHE. And so what I've done, and this is all tentative, but I've set it up for a Monday meeting for those of you who are interested. You do not need to show up to this thing, of course. But I hope to be in front of my computer at these times. Mondays, now notice I am Central Time, so I think this should be showing up for you at 10 o'clock, right? So for me, 9 o'clock, you at 10 o'clock. Hopefully this works. Hopefully this whole thing will work. I've not done this before with Zoom. At my college, we tend to use the Blackboard tools because we're still on Blackboard, and we use other sorts of platforms. I've used Zoom before, but never quite this way. So I've set it up, I think, for you to be able to access it at 10 o'clock, as you can see, Monday mornings beginning with May 31st, all the way to the end of the semester. Okay, it goes all the way down. Okay, so there's that. Pretty self-explanatory. A lot of this stuff is, I'm sure. Academic support guide, right? So this is all these fine people, advisors, faculty, textbooks, blah, blah, blah. All these fine people just waiting to help you. So that information is there. This, of course, is the Canvas Clinic. If you have any problems with Canvas, you click on that and then click on this link here. It'll take you to a chat feature option. This, of course, is for people who have obstacles to learning. Your school, like all schools that I know of, have these programs and these departments that are set up to help people who have obstacles to learning. If you are one of these students and you have documented disabilities and you want to take advantage of them in this course, you should see me right away. Make sure that we actually talk. I want to make sure that we're on the same page as far as what expectations are. If you're someone who has a documented disability and never heard of this, you may want to contact these good people to see whether or not you qualify for some sort of accommodation to overcome some of the obstacles that you might have to learning. Okay, moving on. So I'm actually at the beginning of the syllabus tab. Okay, so here's the video that you're listening to or watching right now. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and click on communication plan. Now, again, read all this. Of course, we're using Canvas, and of course, I expect you to log into the course pretty well every day. Some of you won't, but you might miss something, and I'll leave that up to you. That's your choice. And communicate with me anything that is unclear or something that's missing in the syllabus. The communication for me is, and I think for a lot of people, is really, really important. And I believe that live communication is best. I know that a lot of people like to text and a lot of people like email, but what happens, unfortunately, is a lot of back and forth, a lot of wasted time, and a lot of wasted effort. Especially when it comes to really important issues, we want to have a conversation. Okay, we can of course use email to set up a time to talk. And then the communication plan goes into, being respectful and so forth and so on. I just kind of got to throw that in there. Now, if you email me, you should, tell me when you're available. One of the worst emails I get from students, or very commonly, and it's bad, is, can we talk, or can we set up or can we hold a meeting? Can I visit your office hours? These kinds of things. From the very beginning, the answer is yes. So when you email me, feel free to say, hey, can we meet at this time? This is my availability, and I will respond and do my best, to work with that, with your availability. And of course, you should include your phone number for any calls and so forth. Include your course name, right? African American history, whatever. And don't expect a response, sooner than 24 hours. Okay. You should, when you email me, use only your CCV account, right? Also, remember, I live in the Central Time Zone and so forth, and you are college students, and so we are all expected as professionals and students, academics, scholars, I suppose, to write formally. Okay, it's good practice. Now, there is required reading and video stuff for this. So this is the textbook. It's kind of more of a framework. It's a scaffold of sorts. It's called The Cause of Freedom. It's a very short textbook, and it covers from the very Jamestown to Black Lives Matter. Right. This is a relatively new book, and I like it because it covers a lot of material in a very short amount of time, and you're going to be responsible for the material that is in there, along, of course, with the lectures that I will post in video format that will be linked on YouTube or to YouTube. Now, this book is free and it's available through your library. I asked the library specifically to get this title, and they were gracious enough to do that. Hopefully you will use it, and hopefully you will like the fact that it's not something you have to pay for. Everybody likes that, I think. I am not independently wealthy myself. I was a student. I was in the struggle. I know how expensive these things are. So anyway, you got to be logged into the library and all that kind of stuff, right? Usual thing. If you want to buy the book, then you should, and there's some information there on how to locate the right one. You should also realize that I will post some other stuff for you besides the podcast videos, right? The lecture videos. I will post other, PDFs or other little clips of things or other readings that will be required for you to engage. And all this stuff will be under assigned readings videos. So everything within the module under assigned readings videos is fair game for any test that is within that module. We'll get back to the testing in just a moment. Excuse me. Oh, one other thing, I might actually post free chapters to a sort of general U.S. history book. I haven't decided whether to do that or not. My sense is that students like to read as little as possible. Everybody's busy, and if you can get it done without doing all that work, then I get it. But some people I think would be helped by maybe this sort of general sort of overview of the history of the time, so that you can situate my lectures within that time frame, within that context of history. Now, because this is African American history from the 1619, well, even from before 1619, but really 1619 is an important sort of starting point. We're going to, of course, cover a lot of material, and therefore I can't go as deeply as I would like into I cannot give very, very thorough contextual information about what's going on at the time, although I will try my best to do that. Now, obviously, I think most of you, if not all of you, went to high school in the United States and hopefully have some history background, or you were taught history, U.S. history, at some level or another. And so hopefully that's there. Okay. But again, I may or I may not post that textbook. It would be free, and it would be optional. So yeah, and if I do that, I'll send an announcement, or it might just appear. I don't know yet, but look out for that. Okay, so assessments and final grade distribution, right? So yeah, reading is important. So you got 1,000 points. Notice it's a very simple system, and so you should be able to determine your own standing. I'm not gonna. I know people often call me and ask me, hey, can I get an A? Can I get a B? And I tell them, look, the math is right there. My last math class was like 30 something years ago. And so if I can do this, I think my students can. So all you really have to do is add up your points, right? Add up your points that you've earned and add up the points that are still left over, and add that together, and that would be your possible points for the semester. So take a look at everything that you've done, everything you've earned, and everything that's left over. So here you're going to have a test every week for each module, right? You're going to have a midterm and a final. We're going to talk more about these things down the road. Don't panic. They are, it's going to be pretty straightforward, I think. More stuff, and again, make sure you read all this. The discussion boards are going to be bonus, and I'll talk about that in a moment. I very often, and because they are bonus, you should take advantage of them. A lot of times, students will call me and say, hey, can I get discussion, can I get bonus points or something, extra credit? And I look, and they've never even done the discussion boards or the bonus points that I've given them from the very beginning. And sometimes they say, well, I didn't think I would need them. Well, I'm telling you now, you should take advantage of them. Okay. Do your best here. And in fact, the discussion boards will be based on materials that you're going to have to study anyway. So why not do it, right? Anyway, I'd appreciate it if you would not ask for extra credit otherwise. I know people want it. Okay, so we go from you shall not pass to I shall pass. You shall pass. Of course, it's up to you what you do with it. This is very doable. It's just a matter of putting in some time and some work. History, I always tell my students, history is not hard. Calculus is hard. I mean, to me, calculus was hard. This stuff is it can be very difficult at a higher level. What we're doing here, though, is of course just talking about things, memorizing things, thinking about things, and really what that takes is time on task, right? You need to spend the time. It's not all that difficult. Okay, moving on. Tests. you're going to be tested on each material in the module, right? We know that the test will be online. You're not going to be proctored, right? You don't have to use any of those respondus or cheat, the cheat catchers or whatever you want to call them. But I could change that at any time depending on what I see going on. If I think people are cheating, and I'm usually pretty good at determining all this. I might instill that rule. You should know, and I know that when you take the test, you're going to have, your materials out and your notes and all that kind of stuff. That's fine. You might even have your cousin next to you because he's like really good at history, right? But you should not rely on that, because the test questions, they're really designed with the idea that you have studied. You're going to have difficulty if you are, trying to just rely on Google or your notes, right? Here's what I suggest you do. Study for these tests as though you would have nothing with you in a classroom face to face, right? No open book, no open notes. Study it that way. That's your path to success. And if at the end of the day, it's like, well, if you study that way, you will find that the test is going to be a lot easier. And of course, if you have a couple minutes left over, then you can check stuff. I know Google's out there. I know it exists, but because I know it exists, I also kind of try to figure out ways to guard against abuse of it. So bottom line, pretend that you will have nothing in front of you. That's your key to success. Trust me, a lot of people will, trust me, this is the way to go. A lot of people won't take my advice. A lot of my students don't take my advice, and they find themselves sometimes struggling. I'm telling you from the very beginning what it takes to succeed. Why not listen to me? I'm the one who makes the test. I've been in your seat before. I have more years of education than some of my students have been alive, right? And of course, K through all these degrees. And so I really strongly urge you to be prepared. And because you gotta digest a lot of material. As I said, you're gonna have within a module a test, okay? And all the due dates are set out and so forth. Most of it will be multiple choice. I will stick some other things in there here and there, I think. Make sure you take the test as soon as you can. I'm not into resetting tests. If you have a problem with Canvas, then and it's caused by the college's systems, then we can talk. If your battery runs out, or if your internet goes down or something on the last day and all that kind of stuff, I can't help you, right? So I would, if I were you, I would take this test sooner rather than later. Okay, what else? So test grading, viewing, I will show you your grade if I can figure out how to do this. I haven't quite yet, after the due date for each test. So you might take a quiz or test and not see your grade until after the due date. Also, I will not show you the answers or questions because this is an online format and I have to maintain, the integrity of the course. Now, I will, of course, be happy to go over stuff with you. If you call me, I will be happy to show you, I can actually show you the test. We can talk about it over the phone. Okay. What else? This all goes into the fact that that there are 14 tests altogether. Really, you're going to be graded on your top 12. Okay, you should take all 14. You're going to have, module tests 1 through 12, right? Basically weekly tests for that module. For each module, a weekly test. And then you're going to have the comprehensive exam 1, comprehensive exam 2. And of course, comprehensive exam 1 is going to cover like the first half of the semester, comprehensive exam 2, the second half of the semester. And so basically, I'm going to pull similar questions or questions from that material. Okay. Now, here's the thing. It's better to take tests 1 through 12, but I would take all of them. If you are going to miss one, you should try to don't miss the single modular tests 1 through 12, because those are a little simpler. The comprehensive exams are going to actually test you on more material. Why would you want to go that route? Now, of course, things happen, and so that's why I put this in here. That's why I don't allow makeups, by the way, because you have this. The tests are there. and you'll have plenty of time to do them. And excuse me, and I will be dropping the lowest too. So just do your best on these things and do all of them. I think you can. That's how you succeed. What else? Okay, discussion boards. Um, Discussion boards, people, I'm still not convinced that they're the best way to teach, although a lot of people like them. I think students like them, and I think I know why, but I won't go into all of that. But here's the thing: a lot of students don't like them. A lot of students do. So I'm not going to force you to do them. I'm not going to force you to do anything, but I'm not going to require them as part of your overall grade. I will, though, have them, and hopefully you will do them, and hopefully you will take advantage of the fact that they are bonus points. Now, remember, the discussion boards are going to be designed in such a way that they will be drawing on material that you're going to be responsible for anyway, so why not do it? Okay, so I do expect you to help each other out with these things. It's not really group work. You are responsible for your own stuff, but I would like to see some bouncing off of ideas off of each other. I'm going to, of course, have more instructions as I post the DBs. Two of them are already posted. The instructions are there, so they should be clear enough, I hope. Make sure you participate and do well. This is not a completion grade. I will grade you on the substance of your postings. A lot of people, a lot of my students think that because they posted something, they get full credit. That's not how this works. So do your best. And here's some stuff that you need to know about that. Okay, what else? The midterm and the final, they are what they sound like, midterm and the final. So that's going to become clear in terms of dates and all that kind of stuff. I'll probably, midterm means midterm, final means final. So that's enough for now. I will say more later on down the road. You will be using turnitin.com, which I think many of you are familiar with. If you're not, don't panic. I will go into this a little bit more down the road with instructions and so forth. It is pretty easy to use. All you have to do is kind of poke around in it and you'll find your way. But that's a couple months away, not quite, before you have to really worry about that. 6 weeks away or so. Okay. Little learning is a dangerous thing. Drink deep or taste not the Pierian spring. I wonder if anybody can tell me what that means. Okay, so I like to have clear expectations, especially in an online format. So I have, these policies set out and these rules and stuff because I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. One of the worst things that used to happen to me, well, it didn't happen often, but every now and then I'd have a professor who I just didn't know what the professor's expectations were. So I was kind of left floundering, right? I hope that that's not how I come across to you all. If I do, let me know. I like to be clear, but again, all this stuff is very new. Canvas is new to me. Teaching African American history, even though I have experience in it, I'm still learning a lot. And so hopefully the things will be clear. If they're not, feel free to ask questions. Now, attendance we know is important. Make sure that you abide the attendance policy. I will take attendance. Attendance policy is right there, of course. Now, as I mentioned before, I will not accept late assignments. You're going to have plenty of time to do the test. And by the way, each test, well, it's there, but I'll just tell you, each test is designed so it's timed, right? So you're going to have about 10 minutes or so for 10 questions. And if you open it, if you broke it, you bought it. Once you open that test, it's yours. So make sure that you pay attention to that. So anyway, I will not accept late assignments. First of all, the tests, I dropped the 2 lowest ones. Also, it's all about academic and professional growth, right? There's a whole policy on there regarding CCV's interests. And you'll have plenty of time. I plan to give you plenty of time to do the essays as well. You're not going to have just one day in which to do them. That's not my goal. I hope to give you several days in which to actually submit them. If I have not given you the test, the exam date by mid-semester, feel free to write me. Okay, or as mid-semester approaches, I should say. Exceptions are going to be very, 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 very rare. The only exceptions I have ever made to this is COVID. People who actually, last couple semesters, who have been diagnosed with COVID, we just have this sort of, blanket sort of exception. And of course, the students send me, stuff showing, their medical whatever. And I mean, you don't have to do that, but that is going to be really, I mean, you do what you want. But the point is this. I need to have something in order to be able to make an exception for someone. Okay. Because I pride myself on treating all my students as fairly as possible. I do not want to do for one what I don't do for another. Okay. I do need really compelling reasons to do that. All right. If, on the other hand, there is something going on, you have special circumstances or anything like that, see me ahead of time, right? Things that are not special circumstances are like, oh, I'm going on a cruise or something, and therefore, can I turn this in late? No. Or, I've had people say, I'm going on my going on a honeymoon or something. Well, there's ways to plan around those things. And so that's not what this means. If you have, real concerns, which I know people do, people are in the struggle, they have people in their lives who are ill, they have people, they have children, all these kinds of things. One of the worst things is to have a sick child, right? With ongoing problems. I understand how that goes. And down here, I just talk a little about, learning disabilities, and we already covered that. Okay. Oh, now we're getting into the modules themselves. Let me back out of this. So we've gone through all of this, right? All the way down, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. You should know, of course, that, 12 weeks, 12 modules, right? So 1, 2. And as I said, I'm going to be building the rest as time goes on. I'm still working on a lot of them, but they'll be popping up hopefully sooner rather than later. So here we have week 1. We see assigned readings, videos, and graded assignments. So everything in this area here, make sure that you read or watch or listen to, whatever the case might be. And then here you're going to have graded assignments. Now, I said that this is going to be graded, but it's going to be bonus points, the discussion boards, okay? The test, of course, is going to be the graded assignment for this particular module, right? When you click on the cause of freedom, you're going to end up going, of course, straight to this platform here, the portal, and then you click and it'll take you to the textbook. And it'll always open up to chapter 1. It should. And then, of course, you have all these chapters down here and so forth. And you should have page numbers, right? So you got page numbers. There's page 20. So that should be pretty simple. All right. And here is a video that I posted. It's on YouTube. And of course, right down here, you can click on CC for closed captioning. Now, again, these videos are going to be the heart of your learning. Now, a lot of instructors say, well, you shouldn't post, videos or anything that's longer than, 14 minutes, whatever, or 10 minutes, they say. Some of these are going to be like an hour long. Here's the thing. I don't understand that thinking. A lot of times people say, well, people's attention spans have shrunk. Well, I think there's a point at which we have to kind of fight back against that. But also this, so either you're going to get this information through reading or you're going to get this information in another format, right? So I'm trying this other format. In fact, I've noticed that students would rather listen to a lecture or watch a lecture than read a book, right? Not everybody's like that. But the point is this, right? This is going to be really the bulk of the material. Here are my lectures. You're going to see, right? I'm just kind of flowing through there. And so I spent a lot of time on these. Hopefully, I will be able to continue doing the visuals. I might just end up doing audios. And now it's frozen. What's going on here? But that will give you some indication of, oops. So anyway, this gives you some indication of what it looks like, but it's frozen now. Okay. Anyway, here's my last name and yada, yada, yada. You'll see this. Okay. Let's X out of that. All right, my computer's frozen. I wonder if you can even hear me. Okay, looks like we're back. Probably a little bit of an interruption there, but I think we're good now. The last thing I was talking about was these YouTube videos, right? So I'm pretty much done. This was of course all very quick and you know, unedited and unpracticed. So, and it's kind of weird, like doing this this way. I'm used to doing this in front of a live classroom, bunch of students. But hopefully this worked for you. Hopefully my subsequent videos will be somewhat more refined. I think that's pretty much it. We're talking about lecture videos. There's a clip here. So test one, right? So click on take the quiz. Of course, don't click on that until you are ready to do so, to actually take it. And here you have your first discussion board. It's kind of an icebreaker thing, and lots of instructions here, but it's not all that difficult if you just kind of go through it step by step. I think it's all pretty self-explanatory if you take just a moment to read what's there. I think that's probably it. I am going to be posting week 3 very soon, but these 2 weeks, week 1 and week 2, are ready to go. You have all your materials there, assigned readings and videos, and you have your graded assignments. Test 1, of course, required as part of the course. This discussion board is bonus. I do hope you will take advantage of it, though. And here's week 2, of course, same kind of thing, assigned readings, and then of course grade assignments, test 2, and another discussion board. You probably won't have discussion boards every week, and in fact, I will try to keep up with them, and I will see how they go, because sometimes students don't participate. If they're even students who, even sometimes students won't participate when they're actually part of the grade, not even bonus points. The fact that this is bonus points means that maybe fewer of you will participate. I don't know, but again, I will remind you that the discussion boards will draw on the assigned readings and materials somehow. Therefore, you have to actually deal with these materials anyway. Might as well get some points for having done that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut it here. And as always, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording and post this right away, so you guys will have this. All right, hopefully you made it this far. Again, if you didn't, that's fine. It's all there. All the materials are there. It's all pretty well set out, I think, at least for the first couple of weeks. And I doubt there's going to be much confusion, but if there is, then feel free to reach out. As instructors, we put this stuff together and it makes sense to us. And sometimes it's not always easy to see gaps that may be there. So feel free to let me know if there's something that isn't quite jiving. All right, I will leave it there, and thank you for your time. Take care, be well, be good.